Hey guys, welcome back to another video. This is gonna be the first video back in a while, but also let's talk about the biggest event that's currently happening on TikTok right now. Keith Lee has gone to London to have his food thing that he does. And the people in the UK are being very antsy and uppity about this situation. As you can tell from the TikToks. Um, you know, and like I've been seeing it pop up on my feed every day, and it's honestly just getting annoying. Let me show you some examples.
It tastes like a pork sausage. It already tastes like anything but pork to me.
Well done, Mr. Lee. You have single-handedly brought together the whole of the UK again. Kudos on that. I do, however, have a few questions. Everyone knows hotel food isn't the greatest. Even in America, I've been a load of times, your food is mid. Number two, why would a sausage not taste like a sausage? I know Americans pump their food with E numbers and additives to make it taste something different, over-season just to get rid of the taste of the additives, but I'm confused at why a sausage tastes like a sausage and a mushroom tastes like a mushroom. This just goes to show our taste buds are not the same. Americans have become so used to flavourings to boost for flavour because of all of the stuff that's pumped into your food. British food just isn't that bad, and I discount the fact of that bread that looked awful. So being in London, one of a culture melting pots, you should just not be able to rate hotel food. Also, please don't get fish and chips from a pub in London because that does not taste like real fish and chips. Go to a seaside town and get some in a newspaper paper bag, and heavy on the salt and vinegar. But just remember, Mr. Lee, you have a lot of Americans that live vicariously through you because not a lot of Americans will ever come to the UK. And a lot of Americans just think the food is bland. Well, some of it is, yes, but so is American food as well. I implore you to go out and try more food from more restaurants. Because in the UK we have fresher food, because all food doesn't need to be over-seasoned, Americans. Okay, a sausage is meant to taste like a sausage with a light seasoning just to explore the taste better. Just learn from that. Peace.
I need people to be so serious because when Keith Lee announced his UK food tour, right, and he said London, Bristol, Manchester, and Paris, we should have known how the situation was going to end, or it's actually ongoing. I think what's really kind of frustrating about this whole thing is that Keith Lee is going to be a lot of Americans' insight into British food. A lot of Americans will live vicariously through him because a lot of them will never actually come here and try British food or try a lot of the ethnic foods that exist in the UK due to immigration, right? So they will just take Keith Lee's opinion on the food and think, oh yes, all of the stereotypes I've heard about British food from this American have been reinforced by another American. But what I think everyone else in the world needs to understand is, my personal opinion, Americans on the whole aren't people who like food. They like the idea of food. They like the concept of food. They like the concept of food. They like the fullness that food gives them, but they don't actually like food through no fault of their own, mainly just due to the government's lack of funding and any sort of high quality and quality assurance of food. The fact that they let any random preservative and e-number and any dega pesticide have everything in their food, pumping it full of who knows what. I'm not saying the UK doesn't have a problem, but Americans are so lax with their laws. Right? So it's no fault of the American people. But I think because for decades, they haven't had just baseline, fresh, organic, like good quality food, they've had to oversalt, overseason, over-preserve everything to the degree that they can't actually taste the base ingredient anymore. Because how did Keith Lee have a pork sausage in his fry-up and say this tastes like pork? As opposed to, he had mushrooms and bubble and squeak and he said this tastes like the ingredients. As opposed to, now before anyone says, oh, you just don't like seasonal food. I'm West Indian. I grew up eating West Indian food. I cook West Indian food myself. I know about seasonings. But what everyone else in, let's just use the developed world as an example, understands is that sometimes the freshness of the food can carry a dish. Even in the Caribbean where people like to season their food. If you have, say, fresh fish, you do a little salt, a little lemon juice, a little seasoning, a little herb, but you let the freshness and the flavour of the fish carry the meal. I cannot think of a single American dish where you let the freshness of the main ingredient carry it. The only examples I can think of are things like French fine dining. Like, I watch a lot of Hell's Kitchen with Gordon Ramsay, and like the stuff that he makes is very much like French-influenced cuisine. And you know, my fellow Brits, you just have to breathe in, breathe out. At the end of the day, is Keith Lee the arbiter of all things great British food? And a message to Americans, right? You can pry beans on toast, bangers and mash, a fry-up, Sunday roast, shepherd's pie, cottage pie, apple crumble out of my cold, dead, rigor mortis set hands. You will never be able to shame me for it. I will always love it. Thank you.
And like these videos have like hundreds, thousands of comments under them, and it's kind of annoying because I go through the comments sometimes, and they're just like, they don't know what American food is. Like, they always relate like their beans on toast to like this chipped corned beef, which I don't think anyone in America currently eats. Like, I haven't seen anyone in America eat this ever. And it's just surprising to me that they think that's the same. And I'm like, no, most people don't eat it, except unless you're from the 70s, or not even the 70s, like probably even the 60s. Like, unless you're from like, you're really old. Unless you're currently in your 80s right now, no one eats that. I would relate their beans on toast to a grilled cheese. Everyone knows what a grilled cheese is. Everyone's eaten a grilled cheese before. every American has eaten a grilled cheese. Black people, white people, we've all eaten grilled cheese. We've all made grilled cheese. We all make it differently too. From as a black person, we don't really do the tomato soup method. We don't dip it in the tomato soup. We don't do all that. And I don't know exactly if there's a difference with the butter situation. Like, cause some people use butter, some people use mayo. It's a different situation for each person. But in general, almost every American has eaten a grilled cheese. I can say that on fact, almost every American has at least eaten one grilled cheese. No, every American's eat a grilled cheese. That's more of an American staple than chip cream beef on toast. Nobody. I still don't understand that, because I'm like, I've never. You guys bringing that up is the first time I ever heard about that. It's the first time I ever heard about that, and it's the first time I ever seen anyone actually make it and eat it. And y'all are like, that's nasty, and we're also like, yeah, that's nasty. We don't do that. We don't do that. Like, anyways, the UK people are having a problem with Keith Lee and how he ate the English breakfast, because they're saying he's not eating it all together like you're supposed to. But it's like, it feels like they've never seen a Keith Lee video at that point, because it's like, that's what he does. He tries each ingredient to like rate them separately, and then he tries them all together. And of course they don't watch the whole video, because that's just people nowadays. They don't like to watch the whole video and really like, understand the full context of it. But most of the items that he ate, he rated from what I know, he rated the beans like a 4 out of 10, because they were like sweet, and like they were sweet more than savory. And if you know Keith Lee, he likes savory more than sweet. So like, of course he wouldn't like the beans for his preference. And a lot of these British people in the comments are like, hey, Keith Lee, I don't like Keith Lee, because like, man, I don't even know how he got here. He's a failed MMA dude, and now he's just doing food reviews and stuff. And I'm like, bro, don't hate on the come up, bro. He's just like everyone else. He just likes food. He likes cooking food. He likes tasting food. There's nothing wrong with what he's doing. And if you don't like his opinion, don't care about it then. But they're all like crazy about it. And then they start dissing American food. And it's like, I don't even think they know what American food is. Like, because the UK is such a small island. It's not even, y'all act like you're a full, like, big country like America. You guys act like you have this, especially like all these black Londoner, well, black Londoners, black UK, black British people. There we go. All these black British people, they're getting so uppity defending this, and I'm like, bro, most of this, I guess it is a part of your culture because you grew up there, but realistically, like, you're probably like a second or third generation, fourth generation, maybe. And like, y'all, like, and then they're getting angry, but it's like most of the cuisines in the UK are just cuisines from other countries. Like, they're from African countries, they're from Middle Eastern countries, they're from India, Pakistan, like, they're just China. It's like most of the food in the UK, that most of the takeout food in the UK that people eat, Nando's, that's more Spanish than actually British. Like Like, I don't know why you guys are like, fish and chips is the one meal that kind of looks appetizing to most Americans. But everything else, everything like UK, like food based, doesn't look good. Like, I'm sorry, but it all looks bland, non-seasoned, not taste. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look appetizing to most Americans. Because we're used to like having sauces, things covered in seasoning. Like, and it's just annoying to me personally because they don't know how many things were made in America. They're like, oh, pizza and tacos. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, pizza and tacos technically aren't like they're technically aren't American. They weren't really originated in America. But if you take into the fact like chocolate chip cookies, an American classic, and I think everyone has had a chocolate. If you have, like, there's no way you haven't had a chocolate chip cookie. Everyone eats chocolate chip cookies. There's no way you haven't had them. Chocolate chip cookies, American classic. Barbecue, just a barbecue. Just smoked meats in general is an American classic. Jambalaya is an American classic. A Cuban sandwich originated in America. It was not made in Cuba. I know the name really throws people off, but a Cuban sandwich was not made in America. Or a Cuban sandwich was made in America, sorry. And most of the stuff you can Google. Most of the stuff is probably going to be on the screen when I edit this video together. But it's crazy to me that they keep talking down on Americans and they don't realize how much stuff.
Some people hold negative stereotypes about America.
That was, hey, why are you listening to me? Shut the fuck up. Anyways, the phone started listening to me and talking, ranting and shit. Anyways, it's just crazy to me that they don't seem to understand it. Like, they're getting mad at Keith Lee for not having the same taste at them. And I'm like, yeah, he didn't grow up in this culture. So obviously he's coming from this as an outside perspective. And that's how most Americans are going to come into it, with an outside perspective. We don't know your culture, so we're trying to learn it. And most of us are not going to go to London. So most of us are just trying to learn it through a person that has most of the same views as us, as an American, in foods and in like things that they like. And like, obviously some of the things that Keith Lee rates highly, other people don't, because it's like, we have different tastes, we have different, like, but most of the stuff on average is pretty good that Keith Lee tastes. So let's not act like Keith Lee is just out here giving bad information or just giving out like faulty statements here and there almost all the time. Like, yeah, some stuff is not for some people. That's normal. That's normal. We're humans. We're not all going to be exactly the same. But the main problem I'm having is they start talking down on Americans, making it seem like the Americans are the problem in this situation, when it's like, y'all aren't willing to educate yourself either in this. Like, I know Americans are ignorant as fuck. We know that. But also, you guys are being very ignorant in this situation, not willing to educate yourself on this. Like, when we think of British food, we think of the foods that you tell us about on the internet. We've seen hundreds and hundreds of British people eat beans on toast. We've seen hundreds and hundreds of British people eat a baked potato with the cheese on the inside first, then the beans on top, like slathered in beans, and then with tuna on top. And I'm like, what? the cheese should be the topping, or you could put more cheese on top. Like, bro, what are we doing, guys? You doing, and it's like, it's not like just one. It's not like it's just one scooping of beans. It's like a triple scoop of just beans. I'm like, bro, I know beans are good for protein. Beans are high in protein. I get that, but like, come on. Like, for real, like, and I understand why they eat it, because it's like their beans are like sweet. They're not savory compared to American beans. American beans are more salty, savory, and their beans are more sweet and like, it's like a ketchup-y, like a tomato-y ketchup type of flavor profile. And I'm like, I guess, but honestly, that's not for me. That's not for me, guys. That's not for me. I'm a vegetarian, so I probably wouldn't eat. I'm a picky eater and a vegetarian. I don't really like beans like that. I'm being honest. I don't really like beans like that. I don't really like beans like that. I'd rather eat something else. That's why instead of beans on toast, I eat grilled cheeses, because it just tastes better. A grilled cheese just tastes better. A grilled cheese is just better. I will die on that hill. A grilled cheese is better than beans on toast. I will die on that hill. I promise you. God. And it's like, the next thing is, there's a lot of these UK people are talking about oh, I know you Americans have a lot of preservatives and a lot of carcinogenics in your food, and I'm like, I don't think they understand. America's ranked third in food, in quality and safety. We're ranked third in the world in quality and safety of our food. So and they rank 29th. So I don't think we have more preserves. And then this one TikToker, she said that Americans don't really like food, which is false. Because the one joke you make about us is that we're all fat, and we can't be fat and not like food. It's like, y'all just eat food to fill yourselves up. If we just ate food to fill ourselves up, we wouldn't be fat. That's not how it works. No, you fall in love with food. You go I don't think a British person has ever been in a food coma before. Have you ever been in a food coma? Have you ever eaten some that? That's a Thanksgiving thing. That's an actual thing. There's a science. We studied this. There's a chemical reaction in our body that makes us sleepy from eating certain foods. Bro, soul food. They don't know what soul food is, bro. They can't be talking oh, y'all don't have American food. Soul food is cornbread, collard greens, candy yams, bro, sweet potato pie, pecan pie, bro, apple pie, American staple apple pie. They're acting like we don't have American classics that they know about. And it's just annoying. Well, it's getting to be a long video, and I'm a sign off here. Hope you have a good day. Hope you, if you're British and you're listening to this, make yourself a grilled cheese for the love of God. For the love of God, try a grilled cheese. I will tell you how to make it. It's 2 slices of bread. You put the cheese in the middle. Sandwich it. Butter each side of the bread. Put butter, and if you want to, you can make 2 different versions though. You can use butter or you can use mayo. I prefer butter, honestly. You gotta let the butter sit out a little bit so it melts nicely. Then butter the sides, put it on the pan, flip it, golden brown, flip it again, golden brown, take it out, crunch. It's good. It's bomb. Anyways, that's gonna be it for me. I'll see y'all later. Peace.